Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, this channel focuses on the ins and outs of living abroad in the beautiful country of Poland. Today's topic is, do you have what it takes to move abroad? Let's get started. Before I get started, I want to say that moving abroad is difficult. It is not this easy thing to just do. However, it is not impossible. I've already done a video about the benefits of moving abroad, so if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. But it definitely has a lot of benefits, and that is what has kept me in Poland and keeps me thinking about moving to a different country in the future just to kind of reap those benefits. But before you can reap those benefits, you definitely have to have a mentality and kind of a spirituality to be able to handle this journey. In my time in Poland, I've met several individuals who have worked for the company that I currently work for, and people who are just travelers, or people who work for several other companies and in other countries here in Europe. And I've noticed some kind of correlations with those individuals who are successful and of individuals who aren't successful, and unfortunately individuals who end up going back to their home country because they're not able to hack this experience. Now, probably the biggest thing that you need is a level of openness. When you move abroad, you're faced with a lot of different challenges, and there's the obvious challenges with visas and language barriers, but there's this other internal challenge of getting yourself to do something new and something different. It's very hard. It's, in my experience, and just kind of observing things, living abroad and just in life in general, that it's hard to get that momentum built up. If you're at rest and you're trying to, build up the momentum to maybe start going to the gym, or build up the momentum to maybe learn a new language, it can seem like an impossible task to do such. And that's the same thing when you are thinking about moving abroad. I think that when you're moving abroad, it's a bit more difficult, especially if you're moving to a country that is far away from your home country, in the sense that you may not have the opportunity to, visit that particular target country, and you may not have exposure to individuals who are from that country or individuals who work in that country. My biggest now pet peeve is that when you're thinking about moving to a new country, or to a country that is completely unfamiliar to you, is that you definitely have to use the internet to network as much as you can and find people who, one, work in the industry that you're thinking about going in, and two, locals that live in that country that share some of your interests. That is going to be your gateway and your key to moving abroad. If you're moving abroad and your avenue of obtaining a visa, or your avenue of work is going to be teaching English as a second language, then this part of the video is especially for you. Just because you are a native speaker does not mean that the job is going to be a piece of cake. I've come across a lot of ESL teachers who, in the beginnings, thought that teaching ESL language or teaching ESL English would be just extremely easy. And they failed to realize that just because you are a native and you speak English, or you speak a specific language, doesn't necessarily mean that, one, you're going to be able to teach that language, and number two, that you even are a great speaker when it comes to your own language. Now, when I started teaching English as a second language, I had to spend a lot of time really relearning specific aspects of English in order to better serve clients and better serve students. And it definitely was a humbling experience, and it definitely was something that I had to have a level of openness to do it, but I had to have a willingness to learn and a willingness to understand that, yes, I have privilege because I am a native speaker. I speak a language that is really popular in the world right now, and that gives me the ability to work in several different countries. But at the same time, in order to be a good teacher and to be successful in this industry, I have to continuously, learn how to be a teacher, kind of change with new mythology that comes in place and new technology, and also just kind of be up to date on different language trends, and also understand my client, understand the needs of my clients, and understand that people from different countries or clients for different countries have specific, unique, and special needs. This next element definitely goes with openness, and this element is a willingness to take failures or to see failures in a totally different light and a totally different perspective. When you move abroad, you are going to be faced with a lot of obstacles. In fact, sometimes it might feel a little overwhelming because you move to this new country and you have to jump through several hoops in order to legally get into that country. And then when you're in that country, you have to jump through several hoops to kind of maintain your status and kind of get used to your new profession or get used to working at a different institution or a different school. And then if you want to stay longer in that particular country, you then have to go through even more hoops. And so you're hit with all these kind of obstacles, and you have to look at the obstacles as just that. They are opportunities to overcome a challenge or a change and to be successful. In my life, when I see a failure, and especially when you're living abroad, when you see a failure, when something bad happens, you have to be able to turn that failure quickly into a success and learn from it. If you're watching this video, you are halfway there in the sense that you have, looked on YouTube, or you know me, or you know someone that knows me, and so you're here and you're looking at this video. And so kind of the battle of preparing for, action and preparing for that momentum is kind of on its way. It took me approximately 5 years of mentally envisioning myself living in a different country before I had the courage to actually do it. And at the time I thought, I didn't move abroad, or I didn't do it because I didn't have any opportunities, or I didn't have the right amount of income, or I didn't have the right level of education, or I didn't have any experience in teaching English as a second language. And those were all roadblocks or obstacles that I kind of placed in front of myself so I wouldn't, start to make the change. When I was absolutely 101% ready spiritually, and I was 100% ready emotionally to make the leap, everything kind of fell in place naturally. Everything that I needed fell in place. And when I met obstacles, when there was a time where I thought, well, maybe this experience wasn't going to happen, I had a negative thought for a split second, and then I went ahead and put myself on a different path, on a different trajectory to get myself here. Now, my goal initially wasn't to move to Poland. Initially was to move to Spain, as I've mentioned before. However, in going through the process and realizing things, I kind of discovered that Poland was not just a good alternative, but was a good place for me to kind of grow as a person. And I 101% feel that I definitely would have grown to where I'm at in Spain, but Poland was giving me these different opportunities. And so you have to be willing to kind of listen kind of to the universe in this process, and to not give up. And when you get one barrier or you get one obstacle that is a wall that you can't jump over or you can't climb over, then find another way around it. In this new year, I know a lot of you have a lot of resolutions and a lot of goals. I also know that a lot of people, just because of the political climate in the USA, are making the choice to relocate and just to have a different experience. And you definitely can do it. I'm talking to you. You definitely can do it. You just have to be in that mentality and you have to make sure that you kind of change your mind frame that you can. And you will find opportunities. There are opportunities all across the world for people, specifically Americans and individuals who speak English, to teach English as a second language. They exist. And it doesn't matter because of your level of education or your level of experience. If you're willing, if you have that intrinsic motivation to do it, you're gonna get hired and you're gonna be successful because you're gonna put the work, time, and energy into this field so that you are successful. So this year, you don't have to make any excuses for yourself. Have the courage to do it. Anyhow, if you like this type of content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And I can't wait to see you next week.